lead, arsenic, fluoride, petroleum, nitrates, chlorine, aluminum, chromium-6. These are all toxins that are commonly found in tap water coming from local treatment plants, and you're drinking and bathing in these. But there is a solution to fix this problem. It's a company called Enevive. It's an independent water research and consulting firm. I had Enevive come out. They tested my water. They found things in my water that I didn't appreciate, not knowing about. Oh, surprise, surprise. We don't know everything that's in our water. I'm so thankful that they came out. They completely switched out my water system, and now I'm drinking purified, clean, tasty water. Check out my friends at enevive.com. That's ENEVIVE.com, or call 801-993-0080. If you mention my name, Becka Hayes, they will give you half off a chemical remover.
Chemical-free is the way to be.
Boys and girls, young and old, are all going to see the dirt.
Welcome back to the Becka Hayes Show. I'm your host, Becka Hayes. And with me, I have Trent from Enevive.
Yes.
Which I'm so excited. You're the water guy.
I am the real Aquaman.
The real one.
The Aquaman.
Not quite as handsome or ripped, but I'm the Aquaman.
Yeah, you're a good looking
I got the
guy.
beard going on.
Exactly.
What kind of beard is that where it flips out to the side? It's called
A
something.
handlebar.
Is it the handlebar? Yeah.
That's like out and down.
That's
isn't
actually
it?
really good looking
Kind of
beard.
cool. Thank you.
You should
Yeah.
promote for a beard company. You know, one of the...
Like a multitasker.
Yeah, right? I like it. I
Yes.
really like it. And then we also have Jacob Vince. He's becoming a regular on the Becka Hayes Show.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Trent, I came across you, it was like a month ago, maybe even more than that, 2 months ago. And one of your people reached out to me, Danielle, and she was like, hey, you were having the grand opening of your new store. And she's like, you should come and talking you up. And I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And then we got connected and then we started talking. And I mean, just you alone, everybody rant and raves about you.
Oh.
They're like, you're going to love Trent. This is before I talked to you. And I'm like, who is this Trent dude? And I'm like, they're sure talking him up. And then I started talking to you and I was like, okay, he's a cool dude. Tell us about you, your story. I really love how you got into the water business.
Yeah. So going back a ways, was raised by a single mom. My dad died when I was 5 months old. And so my mom was left raising my older sister and myself. And she would take me at a young age. She taught me how to be a gentleman. She taught me to, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And I would open the door for my mom. We'd go to, I remember very distinctly going up to Snowbird and at the Cliff Lodge. I'm like 5. And I would hold the door. I would pull her chair out, push it in. She taught me these things at a young age because she wanted me to learn chivalry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm now 15, and she took me to buy cars. She would go buy a car. She would buy a car. She'd take me to learn how to negotiate.
Wow.
And she was an amazing
Smart woman.
She was amazing.
That's awesome.
And she passed away on November 24th of last year. And it was really sad. It was sudden, but she wasn't doing very well anyway. And so she taught me how to do all these things, right? So I'm 15 and she goes, hey, come down. And there's salesman is coming over. You know the routine. You sit next to be my guy. And so at the end of this sales presentation of a water softener, the guy looks at my mom and says, Mrs. Spafford, what do you think? And she looked at me. I'll never forget it. And she goes, I don't know. What do you think, Trent? And I looked at my mom. I looked at the sales guy and I was like, well, this seems like a good product. Like it really does. I'm 15. And I looked older. Like I was a big guy.
Yeah.
And I looked like I was 20 when I was 15. And he had no idea how old I was. And so at the end, I said, I think you should do this. Let's negotiate. What's the best price you can offer? And at the end, he goes, hey, Trent, will you walk me out to my car? I want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's weird. Like I'm 15.
Kind of creepy.
It's like
radar,
10 o'clock.
radar.
Getting recruited. So it's like 10 o'clock at night. It's dark. I walk him out, and he's like, "So what do you do for work?" I'm like, I was like, "Well, I'm a bagger at a grocery store making $3 an hour."
Yeah.
This is back in 1983. I'm
Okay.
15. And he goes, "Well, how would you like to make more money?" And I was like, "Well, tell me, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, come to work with me and I'll show you." And so I'm like, "I'll try it." So I did, and I made a lot more money than $3 an hour. So I quit that job, went to work at a water softener company, and I worked there through the rest of high school. And then I went and played a little football at Dixie College and then UNLV. And I would come home during the summers and I would go back to work, and I was knocking doors for this water softener company. And I made really good money, way more than $3 an hour.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So, and then I went into sales. I started really going down the rabbit hole on some of these water issues like fluoride and chlorine, and why are the cancer rates so high? Why are there so many cases of neurological brain disorders in South Jordan, downstream from Kennecott Copper Mine? I started, and my mom went to work for this water company too. So
Okay.
she and I were working together. It was really awesome.
Water runs in your family.
Yeah.
It runs into
It does.
You like that?
Nice.
Okay.
Water runs through it. So my mom was a real mentor for me in my life. And being a single mom, you can probably appreciate that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So in 1996, after I was like a national sales director, I did all kinds of things building water companies, and I became really good at it. And I thought to myself, I should do this for my own company. So in 1996, after my current boss then said, "Well, we need to save money for the company because lots of issues on another division, home improvement, they said, we're going to cut your commissions and we need to stay open." And I was like, "Okay, how much?" And he goes, 50%.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "I quit."
But work just as hard.
Yeah.
Maybe twice as hard, and you could earn the same amount.
Yeah.
And pack your lunch.
Double the effort, same price, right?
Right.
So I quit, and I drove down to Utah County right here and went and got a deal purchasing water equipment on my own. And I remember calling my mom. She's like, and she was my biggest supporter, 100%.
She sounds like an amazing woman.
Truly,
Wow.
like she was a saint. Like she wasn't perfect, of course, but wow, she was awesome. So I started my company and I went to work. And so from that point is when I really dived down the rabbit hole on issues like fluoride, like chlorine absorption through the skin. What are the chemicals in water that are created in the water treatment plant? I learned that there's this chemical called trihalomethane. And it's a chemical that for years, 100 years of chlorinated water in America, chlorine started to be put in the water supplies to kill typhoid and cholera. Really good thing, right? Let's save lives. But in 1896, they didn't know much about much.
Yep.
We were still horse and buggy. But they thought, "Oh wow, people are not dying from typhoid and cholera." So
Yeah, we're saving people. That's what they're thinking.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So in 1994, they discovered that the chlorination process created hundreds of toxic chemical byproducts in the water treatment plant. This wasn't a pollution from some, irresponsible, company that just dumped a bunch of pollution in the soil, buried it, and left it for somebody else's problem. So it was in the water treatment plant. And so I learned about all these things. And so I kind of switched from being just like a normal water company, selling water softeners, selling an osmosis system. That's what all the other water companies do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm familiar with.
Yeah. And so a lot of pressure, they come in, one call closed, just like the guy did with my mom.
Yeah.
And we bought it. She bought it, right? But I wanted to do something totally different. I wanted to actually study the real issues. What are the issues? Why are they fluoridating water? What is fluoride really? Why are they pushing it on the American public so much when all of Europe is fluoride free? They've banned it.
Yeah, I want to know this.
Yeah, I'm curious because I don't buy, because you can buy toothpaste, right, that has fluoride in it.
Oh, yeah.
I refuse to buy that for my kids and for me, and I hate the fact that there is fluoride. And I mean, not anymore because I got fresh, pure water now. But prior to that, we had fluoride in our water, and we have no say.
Yeah, but I feel naive here because I don't know what the issue is. What, like, all I know is
I just know
it's in
it's
our
not good
toothpaste,
for you.
helps our cavities.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
break
The
it
dentist
down.
give it to us.
Yeah.
So what I found blew me away. And so I went down the rabbit hole. Utah County or Salt Lake County was putting it on the ballot to be voted for in 2003. Up until that point, nowhere in Utah did they fluoridate water. I was neutral at the time. This was back in 2003. So I started looking into it, and what I found blew my mind. It is not some naturally mined, ore or mineral from the earth that's carefully processed and dripped into the water supply to help you
To benefit us.
to benefit your teeth.
Yeah. No cavities.
Yeah. So what I found is that it's a toxic byproduct of the aluminum business, aluminum manufacturing, and the phosphate fertilizer industry. So when they make aluminum and they make phosphate fertilizer, they heat rock, and the exhaust, like a exhaust of a car, goes up a smokestack, and that pollution in the 30s and 40s, when Alcoa, American Aluminum Company, was in the military and they were making all kinds of aluminum shells and blah, 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 that the pollution would come down and decimate orchards, kill the cattle. It wiped out in Florida acres, hundreds of acres of orange groves from the pollution that settled. And it was so toxic that the government said, hey, you can't do that anymore. You got to build a smokestack now and spray mist water into the smokestack. So when the smoke would rise through this tall smokestack, the mist, it's called a scrubber, the water would scrub the air and it would fall like rain.
That's within the smokestack?
Within the smokestack.
Okay.
Wow.
So they would have to take that slurry, imagine kind of mud, and pull it. It would clean the air, so the air was cleaner, right? It didn't kill, the livestock and the trees, the crops, right? The orchards. So what they do, and I'm not making this up.
No,
This is real.
Yeah, I
This
believe
is not
you.
a conspiracy theory. This is real.
Yeah.
Okay. So they would have to take that slurry with all that toxic garbage from the air that it collected, and they would have to store it. They would have to put it in containers. They couldn't take it to the landfill. They couldn't dump it in a river. It would kill the river. If a container of this, a big truckload of it, were to spill into a lake, dead lake, gone. Everything's dead. So, but they figured out in the 1940s, let's call it fluoride, and let's sell it so we don't have to pay to
get rid of
store it.
Oh my God.
No
I mean,
way.
I'm not surprised though.
Yeah, this is real.
I'm really not surprised at all.
I am.
This is
I'm
history.
not.
This is
I'm
real
not.
history, right? So big corporations thought, let's get rid of this toxic waste. And here's the name, hydrofluorosilicic acid. It is so acidic that it will burn through concrete. I have pictures, and maybe I can send it to you. You can put it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I have a picture of the actual container in an actual water treatment plant in Draper. I interviewed the water master for like 3 hours. He took me on a tour of the water treatment plant. And I said, can I get a picture of that that warning label? And on the warning label of what's being dripped into our water, warning, do not take internally.
Oh my.
Fatal if swallowed. Fatal.
And they're just dumping it in the water supply.
They're dripping it slowly into the water.
It's a slow death.
For what? How do they justify this? Like, what's the purpose that they've sold?
Yeah, good question. Very good question.
It's money, and they don't care about you.
Well,
There you
it's-
go.
Well, they have to justify
It's
it. There
tooth
has
decay.
to be a reason.
Oh yeah, tooth decay. There you go.
Let's prevent tooth decay at the expense of your brain and your bones. we could take a whole podcast on this one subject. Like, it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I was making this stuff up. But the deeper I went down this rabbit hole, I was like, holy shit.
Huh.
No, this can't be real. I looked into it deeper. Yeah, it's real. So right on this label, at Draper City, in Draper, Lehigh fluoridates their water. 100%. Oh, in 2003, the vote passed.
Mm-hmm.
It became a law. It is now a law in Salt Lake County that all 100% of the water in the Salt Lake County is fluoridated because we voted it in, and it passed 51-49, just barely. So
This is the thing. People are not educated. They don't understand what they're really consuming. They just think, and especially because all the dentists, you go to the dentist and they're like, fluoride this, fluoride that.
You have a good association with it.
Yeah,
They're
and-
like, this will help your teeth.
Right? Cavity free is the way to be. Like,
It is.
well, I mean, I thought.
So was this nationally around this time that everyone was doing it? Was it like an 03 thing, or did this happen in the 40s?
So Utah was one of the last states to fluoridate their water. Right now, 70% of the entire population in America, 70% it's fluoridated. While all of Europe used to fluoridate, they've banned it. It's now no bueno. They don't do it. So and it makes me angry. Like, it really does.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you better get this right. As a single mom, my mom, your mom, my mom didn't know. She gave me fluoride tablets. I went to school in the 70s. They would hand out this little cup. Here's your fluoride.
I had that.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the
You
fluoride
like
cup?
pay extra to get the fluoride
Yeah.
at school.
So criminal.
Yeah.
Oh my
we don't know shit. My mom's like, hey, you keep getting cavities. We're doing the
Yeah.
special fluoride program.
You and I both have soft teeth. Yeah, we got the soft teeth.
So the data shows this, that fluoride topically, okay, maybe there's a slight benefit, very minimal. But drinking it internally and distributing the fluoride systemically through the bloodstream to the teeth of a developing child, not so good. They've now, like Harvard School of Medicine came out, they did a meta-analysis of fluoride, 27 international countries combined. And they found that, like, if you think of a toxin, like in the spy movies, they have the little tablet, and they bite it and it foams and they die.
Yeah.
What is that? Cyanide, mercury, arsenic. They've lumped fluoride in with cyanide, mercury, and arsenic as a neurotoxin.
Right.
So drinking it systemically would be like, I love to tell this to moms particularly. Moms are like,
I'm fired up.
I got to protect my kids from a sunburn, and they lather them up
Right?
with sunblock, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you ever have your kid drink sunblock
Hell no.
to prevent a sunburn?
It's gotten their eye before, and they act like an hour later, they're finally like not crying anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just a little bit in their eye. And that's the organic kind.
So drinking fluoridated water is like drinking sunblock to prevent a sunburn. Drinking it systemically to make the sunblock make it to the skin, it goes everywhere in the body. So topical application, put it on the skin if you're going to do it. The zinc oxide, whatever, on the nose, the face, the sunblock, do that.
Yeah.
Topical application. Okay, not systemic distribution of a toxic product into the blood supply, because it goes to the brain, it goes to the bones, it goes to the eyeballs, it goes to the developing, if a mother ingests fluoridated water, it goes to the developing fetus.
Yep.
This is upsetting.
Breastfeeding and everything.
I wonder if there's any correlation with like the autism spike and when we started dumping poison in our water.
Absolutely. There's lots of research about that I found.
Interesting.
Not necessarily correlated to fluoride, but other toxins. So like that trihalomethane,
Yeah.
that increases rates of birth defects and miscarriages, which is made in the water treatment plant accidentally. And they know it. France has banned chlorine because of all the toxic byproducts that are made in the treatment plant. Most of France, no chlorine. So all those other toxins have disappeared. But in America, no. Chlorine is a multi-billion-dollar a year business. Think about it. Why would they stop that business, knowing full good and well that if they did, cancer rates would drop, infertility rates would drop, birth defects, the rates of birth defects would drop. 50 years ago, the rate of infertility was 1 in 200. Today, it's 1 in 5. 50 years. It's gone from 1 in 200 to 1 in 5. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corruption in this.
I have right now, I have a handful of friends right now trying to get pregnant. And they've been trying for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't do anything different. They're in different places and locations, but it's odd to me.
So I had a client, I guess it was 2 days ago. He grew up in Scotland, and I met him at a Restart Utah event. It was incredible. Like, all these businesses came together. We were over in Pleasant Grove. It was like a little mini business expo. Like, we had 3 feet. Well, I had to wear masks and the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
I know how you feel about masks. I'm the same way. We connect on that.
Right?
So we're sitting there, and this guy from Scotland, very nice, you're very cool, his accent. Like,
That was a horrible accent.
That was horrible.
That was
Keep
really,
doing
I thought my accents were bad.
All right.
Keep going, Trent. Proceed, please. Just not with the accent.
Now the accent.
I liked the accent.
Scotland.
Okay.
Don't you know?
Oh, there he goes.
Don't you
He just
know?
couldn't help himself.
Don't you know now?
Hey, what you know? Can we talk about the water?
He tells me that his sister, like, they both grew up in Scotland. She moved to the States, and now he's here. And he just bought a full water protection system, just like the one we installed for you.
Yeah,
here.
I got the Big Daddy.
Yeah, it's
I'm not,
incredible.
I'm not messing around.
It's good stuff. Really good stuff. So he tells me, when my sister, she was trying to get pregnant, they were living in the States. They went back to Scotland for 2 months. Boom, got pregnant. Comes back, has the baby, trying to have a second baby. Couldn't get pregnant. This is what he told me. This is his testimony to me. He goes back, or she goes back to Scotland, another 2-month visit family, whatever.
Yeah.
Boom, gets pregnant. It's happened 3 times. Can't get pregnant in the States, goes back to Scotland. I don't know if it's in the water or what.
Well,
Weird that it's reversed that fast.
Yeah. And so she gets pregnant. All 3 times she's in Scotland, boom, she gets pregnant. Same activity going on here in the States, can't get pregnant.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's really interesting.
But there's a lot of correlation. Like, this is from the EPA, though. The Environmental Protection Agency has now come out and said, okay, this is going to blow your mind. Okay. Like, your mind's a little bit partially blown with fluoride.
Mine's like so blown, I can't even put it back together.
I feel
I'm picking
angry.
up pieces from the ground. It's been blown for the past, year and a half. But go on.
Yeah. So in America, we think, oh, Big Brother's taking care of us, right? In Utah, and I don't know where you're sitting viewing this, this podcast, but wherever you are, we have this idea that Big Brother is taking care of us. Oh, we're protected. Our water is coming to us from a water treatment plant.
Yeah, there's so much trust just built in.
Right?
We don't know. There's just water when we need it.
Yeah.
This is why I trust no one.
Oh, you do. You just don't even know about it.
I do my own research, and I have Trent now.
Yeah, this helps.
I'm your water. I'm the Aquaman.
You are the Aquaman. Go on, Trent.
So we look, like in Utah, we look up at the mountains. It's snow-capped right now. And it's starting to melt, and the water's coming down, and we think, we're going to drink that water
Majestic.
this spring.
Yeah,
this
no, I
whole
thought that.
summer.
I'm like, we have kick-ass water
It's
in Utah.
snow melt.
Yeah.
It's like one of the worst.
Ours is fresh.
Yeah, the world's greatest snow.
Quick side note, I did a mission in London, and I heard that the tap water was recycled 7 times
Oh,
by
yeah.
the time you got it.
Yeah.
So through human, into the sewer, cleaned, back through the system 7 times.
Recycled water. That's
So I'm
happening all
our
over the
Utah
world.
water's great.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
So we look at the mountains, snow melt. We think, oh, water's great. All's well in Zion.
Exactly.
Right? Well, we have some of the worst water in the country, turns out. Lots of independent research. So, but we think that water is good. So what happened is in America, the Congress, right, supposedly the people's house, right, every state represented in Congress up until, in 1974, they passed an amazing body of legislation. And they said, okay, in America, it's no longer okay to have lead levels in the tap water that cause brain damage. And they established what they call the MCLG, the maximum contaminant level goal. So they established, and this is Congress with old research from the 50s and 60s and early 70s. Again, we've learned a lot since then.
Mm-hmm.
So 1974, they passed the Safe Drinking Water Act, right? Yay, everybody's excited. They're going to now monitor and go after polluters. That was a good thing for water. So for instance, lead. Lead is the number one health concern and health issue for children. It's number one on the list. So they said, all this research shows that the maximum contaminant level goal, the goal is that below the goal is safe. No human interaction, no health issues, right? Below the goal is good. Above the goal, not so good. So they established the goal. There were 41 contaminants of over 85,000. They got 41, better than nothing. But then they said, well, it's not feasible for a water treatment plant to send you 0. They established the goal for lead. The safe level is 0. Even a half a part per billion is not safe. So the goal is 0. And so they established 41 of these goals, okay? But they said it's not feasible for a water treatment plant to gather all this water, right? Send it out through the water lines to your community and have it be 0. It's too expensive. Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Safe Drinking Water Act, 1974.
Yep.
The goal.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch the goal. Can't afford it. 90% of the water that they make will never go in a home. Only 10% of the water that a water treatment plant makes will ever enter a residence. The rest is for commercial businesses, car washes, sprinkler systems, factories, big industry like NSA out here in Harriman or Bluffdale, I guess. They use 1 million gallons of water a day to cool their computer systems. 1 million a day.
Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
Oh my gosh.
So they said, forget the goal. We're going to establish the maximum, right? So they establish the goal, and then they establish, okay, above the maximum, now you're in trouble. But the goal is 0 for lead. But they actually said, this is crazy, the maximum is also 0. But we're going to give them a get out of jail card. We're going to give them a trump card, 15 parts. We're not going to do anything to you unless it goes above 15. Lead, 15 parts per billion. Billion, not million.
You just said it can't even be 1 part per billion, right? Or
Yeah.
it's going to start really affecting you.
Yeah, it'll start affecting you.
Oh my God.
And it's long term. One sip, of lead filled water isn't going to cause brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an accumulation of years and years. And all of a sudden, we wonder why our kids.
And Alzheimer's and everything.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
what happened?
Yeah. So you got the goal, you got the maximum. And then Congress in 1996 said, screw it. We're not doing any more water shit. We're done. Can't do it anymore. Forget it. We're going to give it all to the EPA. So you had Congress, the People's House, lots of representatives, Safe Drinking Water Act, and they said, no more. We're going to give it over to the EPA, a small group of individuals who are heavily lobbied, promised backdoor deals. Hey, when you're done at the EPA, we'll set you up to watch flowers grow at $1 million a year. Don't make us regulate this chemical, as an example. A lot of backdoor deals, a lot of corruption, for real. So in 1996, Congress gave it over to the EPA. They've done 0 since then.
Wow.
Not a single new contaminant has been regulated federally. Not one. So we see these movies coming out, right? So a really popular movie back in 2000 was Erin Brockovich, right?
Love that movie.
Great
so
movie.
Good.
If you haven't seen that, everyone watch Erin Brockovich. True story. You have this woman, single mom, right?
She's a hustler.
She's a total hustler. She gets a part-time job at a law firm. She's not an attorney. She's not studied. She's like a clerk, and they hire her. And she's kind of a maverick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes out and she starts filing these files, and she starts seeing all these people in this little little city in California called Hinckley, California. Hinckley. And they're like, please take our case. Please, we have cancer rates. We have 5 people on one street who's gotten brain cancer. Something's going on. Something is wrong, right? Our water tastes horrible. It comes out yellow. Something's wrong. So, a law firm said, no way, we're not going to do it. It's a no-win. So she on her own goes out to this community and starts knocking on doors like I did when I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts asking people, hey, what's going on? And she starts gathering samples of well water and starts having it analyzed. And she takes this information to the law firm and basically says, there's something here. This is a good deal. We should look at this. Long story short, they end up in mediation with the polluter of chromium-6. Chromium-6, right? It's a hexavalent toxic chemical from the electrical companies, and the company that got sued in this movie was PG&E. Okay?
This is a true story.
Totally true story.
Yeah. It's sickening that this really happened.
Yeah. So
happens exactly.
So
correct.
For profit, for saving money, PG&E knowingly and with full awareness contaminated the water supply, and they knew it, and they found it was gross negligence. And so this group of people in the community came together with this law firm, and they ended up settling, I think, at $300 million. And so if you can play this clip
let me play it.
Of Aaron Brockovich, it's where the attorneys from both sides come into the table. They're going to negotiate, and Aaron Brockovich sits down and basically totally rejects the offer. So go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
Those are my files. Yeah, we had them couriered over. And listen, good work. They're a great start. We're just going to have to spend a little time filling in the holes in your research.
Excuse me, Teresa, is it? There are no holes in my research.
No offense. There's just some things we need that you probably didn't know to ask.
Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, okay? I may not have a law degree, but I've spent 18 months on this case, and I know more about these plaintiffs than you ever will.
Aaron, you don't even have phone numbers for some of them.
Whose number do you need?
Everyone's. This is a lawsuit. We need to be able to contact the plaintiffs.
I said, whose number do you need?
I love this part.
You don't know 600 plaintiffs' numbers by heart.
I love that look.
Mm-hmm. She's so badass.
You know, Julia Roberts won the Academy Award for this too.
Oh yeah, she's
great
amazing.
movie. It's a great movie.
Annabelle Daniels, 714-454-9346. 10 years old, 11 in May. Lived on the Plume since birth. Wanted to be a synchronized swimmer, so she spent every minute she could in the PG&E pool. She had a tumor in her brainstem detected last November. An operation on Thanksgiving shrunk it with radiation after that. Her parents are Ted and Rita. Ted's got Crohn's disease. Rita has chronic headaches and nausea and underwent a hysterectomy last fall. Ted grew up in Hinckley. His brother Robbie and his wife May and their 5 children, Robbie Jr., Martha, Ed, Rose, and Peter, also lived on the Plume. Their number is 454-9554. You want their diseases?
Yeah.
Okay, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here.
That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet and fucking ugly shoes.
So
that's right.
So that's a great movie, right? Little rated R action there. But listen, that's one clip.
It needed to be done. Needed to be said.
Yeah. So the travesty of this irresponsible handling and then disposal of toxic waste is a nationwide issue. And we think, this isn't in Utah. It is in Utah. Forbes magazine came out in 2017, and they wanted to determine where in America is the safest, cleanest place to live, where's kind of middle of the road, and where's the dirtiest, right? So they took 650 toxins. Chromium-6 was on the list. And they took these toxins and said, okay, using the EPA records and pollution and all these stats for waste product, where in America, what state, what city, what county are the most toxic places to live? And they took 650 of these toxins, and they weren't picking on any one industry. They were neutral. So it was across all industries. And what they came up with is that the most polluted state in the country to live in was Alaska.
That what?
Was
That blows
Alaska
my mind.
from the mining industry.
Oh, okay.
So much mining up there. So like when I think, okay, where's the most polluted state in the country? I think of like New Jersey,
Texas,
Philadelphia,
maybe, with all the
Texas.
ammo.
Yeah. Right. All the
Unloading.
ammo.
Well, it's like unloading all the time. I don't know. Maybe, the metal seeps into the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
That's
lot of oil drilling. So
Oh, there you go,
makes
too.
sense.
Yeah.
So Nevada was number 2. Nevada.
Yep.
Number 3, Utah.
Wow.
I saw
Third most polluted
yeah.
state.
I saw that actually on your story yesterday, and I shared it.
Mm-hmm.
Just blows my mind that we're right there up at the number one, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. And I
So-
lived in Nevada too for so many years. It's great,
Water's fine. Water's fine. Water's fine.
right? Yeah.
So with the cities of over 19,000 cities in the United States, think about it, 19,000 cities. Salt Lake or Brigham Canyon was the second most polluted city in the entire United States, right in South Jordan,
Wow.
right on the Ochre Mountain because of Kennecott Copper Mine. Of all the counties there's like 19,000 counties. Salt Lake County was the second most polluted county in the entire United States.
Wow.
Why, where, how, who, what? The toxins from Kennecott Copper Mine. And I could tell you mind-blowing stories from that. I mean, I've done this since I was 15 years old. I think I have forgotten more than most people will ever know about water. That's all I've ever done. Like, seriously, and I love it. Like, I'm passionate about it. And you can tell it comes through.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
People don't know what they don't know until they know it. And so Enevive, I love the name, by the way. I named the company Enevive because it means original life.
I love that.
Ene is a Greek word, or the origin or the beginning, origin or beginning. It's Greek. Vive, French, right? Viva Las Vegas. Viva la France. It's a French word for life. So it's the origin of life. And what is it? Water. So water is the key factor to life. Water goes away, everybody moves.
It's true.
Think about it.
Gotta go to another water hole.
Yeah. Whether you're in Africa
Yeah.
or Alabama.
Right? Yeah. Go find the other water hole.
Yeah, you got to go find a
Get
water
your
hole.
buckets.
3 days without water, you're toast, right? So Enevive, it's all about learning what's really happening, getting back to some original concepts of good health before all the toxins, before PG&E, before the story of Aaron Brockovich. There's another great movie out right now on Netflix called Dark Waters. Mark Ruffalo, right? The actor that plays the Hulk in Marvel. He not only produced the movie, but he's now an advocate about a toxin called PFOAs. And these are forever chemicals. Like you have some in your home.
Okay.
And these toxins never go away, and they cause cancer and all kinds of issues.
Is that one of the non-stick
Is
chemicals?
this the Teflon?
Bingo. Teflon
Oh,
nonstick.
I don't have this in my home anymore because I
that's
learned
good.
about it a long time ago and how it's very bad.
Yeah. So people that spray the spray on their shoes, waterproofing shoes, that's PFOA. Tents that are waterproof, you spray, the seams on the tent with a spray, boom, you're inhaling that exhaust. That's PFOAs. It never goes away. So you watch the movie Dark Waters. You watch the movie Aaron Brockovich. It'll blow your mind. Another movie came out about a situation in Hingham, Massachusetts. John Travolta played an attorney, and the movie is called A Civil Action. That'll blow your mind. Like maybe we could play that one at some point right here.
We can play it right now if you like.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
We can get it.
I could pull it up on the YouTube if you
Yeah,
want.
here you go. So edit that baby in.
All right.
So that clip or that whole movie was about Beatrice Foods. They used a toxin that they just dumped in like little ponds to get rid of it. Highly toxic, and it hit the water supply just like in Dark Waters with DuPont, right? And there are these hot spots all over the country. So true story. I lived in Bluffdale, Utah. I got divorced. I share that feeling. It was tough, right?
Yeah.
I'm living in Bluffdale, and this was in '08. The crash happened, buildings shut down. We had half-built homes in our neighborhood, and it was kind of a ghost town. So the builder who bought the lot, or this huge development in Perry Farms, donated a parcel of land to the LDS Church. They started building a chapel. So they came in to start excavating for the foundation. They got about 4 feet in, and they started hitting tires that had been buried right next to the Jordan River. They started digging more. 5,000 tires later, tons of machine parts from lead piping, exhaust parts, brake pads, all of these things with arsenic in them had been buried who knows how long. It cost the LDS Church, it cost the LDS Church $250,000 to get rid of that stuff. They had to call in the EPA. They had to call in soil samples. It was right next to the river. Literally, you'd go out the parking lot, go down a hill, and you'd be in the water. It was that close. They had to build a fence.
Wow.
So they had to, and this happens all over the country. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
So here's one of the things that, so I was saying you blow your mind. The goal, the maximum, okay? But there's no studies. Each toxin is individually studied. Now, my brother, older brother, passed away several years ago from an accidental overdose. It was tragic. It was so sad, right? And he mixed drugs, and it killed him. Had he gotten high on the one drug, at the dose he took, he had been fine. But his friend came over, gave him something else, and he took it. And it was the mixed drug, expanded the toxicity in his body, and it killed him.
Oh.
So when it's really sad, right? But this is real. You need to understand that when you mix toxins at it might be below the maximum, but above the goal, and this becomes your safe range, right? That does not mean it is safe, because now you might have 20 toxins mixed. And when you mix them, all bets are off. There is no research on the effects of cancer, birth defects, miscarriages, neurological brain disorders, you name it. So when you mix these little toxins, individually it might be okay, right? And we call this a toxic soup or a toxic cocktail. So there's so much going on in the water supply, but we only now test. So since 1996, they got it up to 91 contaminants, and nothing since 1996 once the EPA took it over. Nothing. So these PFOAs, the forever chemicals, they've been sued. Like DuPont was sued in the movie. Brockovich with chromium-6, they were sued. The EPA is aware of it. They did nothing about it. There's no federal regulation on this to date. Right now, today, they're like, well, we're going to turn our back on that one. Yeah, we don't really quite have the evidence about that.
Means there's a money trail there.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Always follow the money trail.
And when I see interviews of Mark Ruffalo, like not acting, like he is an advocate to trying to bring awareness to this. That's what Enevive does, the original life. But we take it one step further. So we know, like I know what I know. My certainty of what I know far outweighs anyone's doubt or skepticism. I'll tell you that. I've done the research. I've been down the rabbit holes. And what I see is bleak. It's going to get worse. We call it the toxic tsunami. So the soil has been loaded. If pollution 100% stopped in America today, the contaminants will continue like a tsunami wave hitting Japan. Starts little, and all of a sudden this wave comes in and you ain't stopping it. That is what is happening in America's water supply. We call it the toxic tsunami, but we are the company that's saying, let's get to high ground. I see the tsunami coming. It's time to move your ass.
Yes.
Quit thinking that your tap water is so great and that, oh, everything's fine because I see snow and it's going to melt. It's time to get to high ground, whether you're a single mom, a single dad, a married couple, single renter. It doesn't matter. Like, it's getting worse. and it ain't ever going away. Our grandchildren, our children are going to be raising their kids in water that is way worse than ours right now.
Well, and just learning about everything that you've talked about and taught me, and doing my own research. I could never give my kids that water. I just couldn't. Yeah. It would be like me slowly poisoning them.
But what sucks is we don't know this because we're
that's what I'm saying.
Led to just trust
exactly
that the water's fine.
And of course, but I'm saying now that I have the knowledge, I did something about it.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm not going to allow them to take that poison anymore. It's ridiculous. You have to protect your home. The government isn't going to protect you. You protect your home.
Yeah. So when we installed your system, right, you have our full protocol protection system now in your beautiful home. Beautiful home.
Thank you.
And what caused you to want to do that? Why did you, when you learned and met with me and we had a little consultation together and I showed you and you felt the difference, both of you came into our office, right, in our water research center, and you were able to see the difference, taste the difference, feel on your hand and smell the chlorine and the chemical removal. What was your experience when you came in?
I showed up and you guys were in the middle of like filming this little demo. But I guess that's irrelevant. But like, I walk in and like, you had me taste your purified clean water. I was like, yeah, cool, good. It's nice, cold, good water.
Yeah.
Like, here, now taste normal Pleasant Grove tap water, which to me is also like, yeah, fine. And I was like, what the hell?
What am I drinking?
What the hell is wrong with this?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It just was weird and off.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even realize how off it is until you compare it to actually pure water.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind.
That never happens. You're never like comparing them side by side, so you don't really know. I don't know. It blew my mind. And then the washing the hands thing, one in the normal Pleasant Grove tap water versus your water, and it's just night and day difference.
Just like,
yeah.
Mind blown.
My hands, they would get so dry, and I'd have to put lotion on it right away after doing dishes, and they were cracking. And the last few days I've been doing dishes, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're soft. Like I don't even have to put any lotion on my skin right now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm like starting to heal, internally. And then it's working its way outward. It's just awesome.
Love it.
I freaking love it.
That's the original life. That's before all the garbage. That's before chlorine, right? So in the shower, when you wash your hands, when you wash your face, these chemicals literally, like a nicotine patch, the nicotine goes through the skin into the blood. That's how it gets there, right? Testosterone patches, like creams. People know this. The chemicals go through the skin to the bloodstream, like an injection, but you don't swallow it. It doesn't go to the stomach and everything else. So it's like an injection, right? So in every shower that we take, the research shows we absorb more of these toxic chemicals through our skin into the blood like an injection as compared to drinking tap water for a month. So you get more chemical exposure in one 10-minute shower than drinking tap water internally for a month.
Wow.
And so the load that we're hit every day. Look, smoking a cigarette once a month probably won't cause cancer. Once a month. It won't. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
But everyday exposure, and the more cigarettes, you might smoke your whole life. Like your sister, she probably didn't smoke. And like smokers, some smokers that smoke like a chimney don't ever get cancer. And the non-smokers get cancer.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell?
We can't say legally, we cannot say, well, if you get this toxin out or you do our protocol that we can prevent or cure anything. We can't say that. Like we get in trouble if we do. But we can say that by removing these toxins, you reduce your risks
dramatically.
Of these dramatically. It's the everyday pounding. This is the toxic tsunami that's literally being delivered into your home, our homes, through our tap water. And we just think, no big deal.
And the thing with people that are getting all these diseases now, right? And they're getting the skin conditions what is it called? Eczema? What is that? That like rough, dry, patchy skin disease. It's like, let's stop and think, why is this happening? It's not just all of a sudden just came out of the air and like we just developed this. It's in our genetics. Yeah, maybe some really rare ones. But for the most part, let's get to the source and eliminate that.
Yeah.
Instead of just keep covering it up with prescription meds and topical things over the counter. Let's stop covering them up and go right to the source and eliminate that.
Yeah.
It's cool to me though, because like water's the last thing we question,
Exactly. Yeah.
especially in Utah, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you're going to question. It's going to be food or I don't know. I don't even know what else.
Especially,
But like,
especially with the fluoride thing because of our dentists, right? All the dentists I don't even actually, are they transitioning to actually getting away from fluoride now?
No.
No, they're still pushing it heavy.
Oh, yeah,
I couldn't
mainstream.
remember. Okay. I don't remember.
So like I like to use some paradigm breakers. Like if you're walking down the street and you're with your kids and you notice a stranger and he comes up to your kids and he pulls out a syringe and he injects your kids, boom, he injects them with something and runs off. I mean, what would you do?
I would probably chase him and kill him.
Right?
I would, yeah.
Before I killed
without
him, though,
question.
I'd be like, what did you put in my kid? What do I need
I'd
to
have
do?
to ask
what
that
the
first.
heck is that?
Yeah.
But every day we put our kids in our tap water in a bath and a shower, and they absorb these chemicals. We don't know what they are. And it's affecting their health. Absolutely, it's real.
mm-hmm.
You're walking down but it's water. Hey, it's water. It's no big
Yeah.
deal. It's just tap water.
I mean, you can't see what's in it. You just think it's clear, right?
Yeah, it
looks
For the
clear.
most part,
Yeah.
actually. When we did the comparison, we did see the difference. But that's a whole
in
nother-
our store.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's night
you
and
could
day.
see the difference.
And so, another paradigm breaker is, you're walking down the street, you're at a park, and you're hungry, right? Really hungry. And you look over on a bench and there's a Subway sandwich, your favorite Subway sandwich. You're hungry and look around. Nobody's around. Like there's no one, but there's that sandwich. Do you eat it?
No.
Well,
You might, Becca.
Becca
I mean,
would.
how hungry are we talking? I mean, like, I haven't eaten a day's hungry, probably eaten the sandwich.
Okay.
It's a bad one.
But you probably wouldn't. You'd be like,
But
you'd question, do I dare eat
Unless
this
you're
food?
actually
If it was 5
starving and you're
hours.
going to die.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
it's like I haven't eaten for 5 hours, no, I'm not eating the sandwich.
Yeah, no way. But now you're thirsty and you see a drinking fountain right next to the sandwich. You walk over and think nothing about drinking the tap water.
Yeah.
It's just water, we're told as a young age. The way we think about water, if we thought about water in the way we think about food, we would stop drinking tap water from any source. We don't know what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know where it came from. We don't know what lead pipes it traveled through and it pulled the lead after the treatment plant on the way to the home. We don't know that. We have no idea if there's a biological. We don't know do you know that about a third of the water is lost due to leaking from the treatment plant? About a third.
Wow.
Third?
Straight up.
Wow.
And when it leaks, it goes down. Only about 10% of the leaks ever bubble up, so they know where to fix it. So it's a huge problem nationwide, leaking. And if it leaks, it siphons in dirt, poop, who knows what. We have boil orders. Like in Pleasant Grove, in September, there was E. coli in the water, human waste feces in the tap water. They had a boil order, and they say, don't boil your water before you drink it, brush your teeth, food prep. Don't eat your ice. Don't use ice machine. It could be in the ice.
Oh my gosh.
And there's 1,500 boil water notices every week in the United States. And those numbers are going up.
Well, I don't have to worry about that because I have that little, what is it, the UV light?
That's
too?
right.
Yeah.
You are protected.
Bring on the poop in the water. I'm good. I'm high ground.
All right.
So
it feels so good just knowing I'm protected. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Legit.
So, when you know what's going on in the water and you've got control over it, it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And you have that now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worrying about, am I absorbing trihalomethane? Am I absorbing hundreds of unregulated chemicals?
Well, and the thing is, Trent, at the end of the day, and if something happens, if I get some disease or my kids get some disease, I can at least know that I did everything that I could.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm not going to have any regrets.
Yeah.
I did everything that I could.
So in what we try to do at Enevive, like we have to my knowledge, and I've been in the industry a long time, right? Since I was 15,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 52. So a long time. We just opened what, to my knowledge, the world's or the nation's first free purified water store.
You guys are the first?
We're the first.
Wow, I didn't know that you were the first.
Right in Pleasant Grove. So we take the tap water from PG, as nasty as it can be, and we purify all the toxins out: fluoride, lead, heavy metals, arsenic, chromium 6 has now tested, not just in Hinckley, California, Aaron Brockovich, area. It's tested in every single water treatment facility in Salt Lake County, all 18. Utah County, all 12 have tested positive now for chromium 6, and it's getting worse.
Oh my gosh.
So we take the water, we purify it out, and anyone can come and fill up their jugs for free.
I love that.
Bring in your 5-gallon, 3-gallon, bring in your Yeti, right? I take my water everywhere I go. I don't drink tap water. I wouldn't eat a sandwich on the side of a road. So I know I control my water. And so we want to help the community. We want to educate people. So we are not a normal water softener company. The difference between us and, say, a Culligan water. Hey, Culligan, man, they're going to try to sell you a softener. And that's the least of the issues. Although that's important, get that concrete out of the water. But the chemicals, right? We really focus on the research. And so we know the different medias, the different systems. We represent you. We don't represent one brand. If I was a car dealer and I sold Chevy, I'm always going to bash Ford because all I can sell is Chevy. But at Enevive, the original Live, we represent our client. We can get anything out there on the market. We can do any system, just about any system, and if it's not an identical, it's really close. A little lipstick and rouge changes the look, but what's inside matters. So we represent you. We represent our clientele. We can go national. We can go local. We can help you anywhere. We want to educate and share with people what's really happening in the water. We'll pull the water reports from each city, wherever you live in America. We can find that water report that is a federal law that a water provider sends the homeowner an annual chemistry water report. So we look at that.
I don't know if I've ever gotten a water report.
Don't know.
Junk mail.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing one.
You probably didn't care. They go, where's that water report? There it
I
is.
guess you're right. I'm like, I need my water. I mean, I am now.
Yeah. So here in Lehigh, the water reports look like a fruit juice brochure.
Oh, yeah.
Like
okay.
It's a splash of water with this year it's, I think, kiwi. Last year it was strawberries and lemon and
Clever.
oranges.
Yeah.
They make it look so good.
Junk mail.
Yeah. So they make it look really good. Like, everything's fine. We're below the maximum. Well, we're way above the goal, but we're below the maximum. And we have no idea what the mixture of these chemicals do. Legal does not mean safe. Legal does not mean safe. So what we do is we educate people. We share this research, right? You know your lane. You know what you do. You know things that you've studied, and we know water. We hope that people trust an independent voice in the industry. Like we're not selling a Culligan water softener and telling you that everything else is horrible. So we look at the media, we look at the toxicity, we look at the chemicals, and we customize a system to protect your family. And that's what we've installed for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I am so appreciative of it.
Yeah.
That's so, I'm so happy. I really am. Like, I could cry right now because I'm just so happy knowing that, our health is like, it's on the right track.
Yeah.
Trent, so you also, this location that you just opened up, you can have people come to you and get their water tested.
Yeah.
Right? Or you'll go to them.
We'll go to them. You can come to us, and there's no sales pitch.
When you go to test the water, you don't even talk about you just say,
No.
This is what's in your water.
The research,
which is so awesome.
Yeah.
At least anybody that's listening to this, and I pray that you're sharing this podcast just to educate people, just to make them be aware. But get your water tested. Call Trent and get it freaking tested.
Well, so one thing on that, Culligan, a water softener company, will say, hey, we'll come test your water for free. And it's some generic BS test. And then it's a bait and switch. They will try to then sell you like a Kirby vacuum. They'll say, oh, we'll take 20, 30 minutes. We'll test your water. So you're like, oh, yeah. And then 3 hours later, you're like, get the hell out of my house. Don't ever come back.
Yeah.
And they hate that. So the difference between us and all water softener companies, we invest in you. We share the research with no sales pitch. In fact, I love this. We take 29 minutes and we wear a stopwatch.
That's so awesome. I love that you do that.
When we say 29 minutes, we're like we're going to time ourselves. There's no sales pitch people that try to bait us into that. Oh yeah, well, what are you selling? We're with the research division. We have a consulting side. Of course, we know how to do this stuff. We know how to fix you, or fix the water rather. But when we meet with people, our initial meeting, there is no sales pitch. We are not going to do a bait and switch like all water softener companies do. And we'll test the water. We'll pull the water report. You can see for yourself. And then if you want to come to our store, we have an amazing research center.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So it's incredible. You can actually, we take the tap water and we have a comparison. Like you said, side by side comparison. You don't know what you don't know until you compare it.
Yeah.
And you said it was pretty profound.
Mind blowing. Like tap water was disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think I've been a guy who like made fun of people who are like, I can only do bottled water. I'm like, oh, come on. We're in Utah. Our water's awesome.
Yeah. Have a little arsenic.
Yeah, for real. It opened my mind for sure. And I love this. Like seeing your little demos and learning all of this, just tagging along with Becca has been mind blowing. And you're just like, yeah, come get free water. So
I'd love that you
there's
offer
not even
that.
a pitch. It's just
You just want to
it's
help
available.
people.
We wanna help.
Come
But
get
you
it.
also have to make, I mean, you can't just give all these systems to people for free. So like you have to make a living so you can continue to educate people. But you are offering free water, which is so awesome.
Free purified water, no cost, no obligation, no sales pitch. But when we come to you and we test the water, there's no sales pitch. Like if you ask me, well, I want to buy something, you'd be like, come to the office, or we'll invite you to meet with our consulting side. So we have a research side, we have a consulting side, we also have client services side. So when people do invest in their health and they want to prevent these issues that you're doing now, then we have a full support staff to help maintain that system, make sure it's maintained, make sure it's functioning properly. We are world class. No one else does that. It's pretty awesome to do. And then I want to end on this piece perhaps. When we meet with a client, and I know you love this, and I get goosebumps literally right now when I say this. When we meet with somebody, we actually donate $20 to a nonprofit organization called Charity Water. So there are water issues. Yeah, we have water issues here in Lehigh and in American Fork and Pleasant Grove and Salt Lake County and all over the country. But we're talking water issues. That donation that we make of $20 when we meet with someone, it goes to save a life. Every 19 seconds, a child, like we're talking about kids, a child needlessly dies from a waterborne disease every 19 seconds. And this is preventable. We can eradicate these issues globally. We have the technology, but we don't have the funds. So Charity Water came along. Like, you need to check out charitywater.org. And so we are a huge supporter. In fact, internationally, they rank who are the top donators to Charity Water, like all over the world. And I'm proud to say that Enevive this week was number 57 on the list.
Oh,
nice.
So
that's awesome.
We also give back to Charity Water. We help save lives. Thank you. We help save those lives. And we think, well, I could give you dinner for two to Chili's. Meet with us and I'll do a bait and switch demo. That's not what we do. So when we meet with you, we're not going to just give you some stupid dinner. We're going to take the money and we're going to donate it to Charity Water. And it's a huge cause. And so in our research center, we have all these pictures. Remember, you saw that. You were at the grand opening.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Beautiful. All the pictures of Charity Water and the kids, and it was just gorgeous.
Yeah. So we have a real cause. We want to educate. We want to share. We want to protect people from the issues. We want to help support Charity Water in what they're doing. So you can reach us at enevive.com, ENEVIVE.com. Again, original life, Enevive. Our phone number at the office is 801-993-0080 or at enevive.com.
And we're also, not only is Trent going to donate to Charity Water, but I'm jumping aboard because you and I we're stuck together now. Like we're going to spread the word. We're going to educate people.
Yeah.
But if you do decide after you see the nastiness in your water, if you do decide to have Trent help you and hook you up with a system, What are we going to give them, Trent? We're going to give them half off
Yeah.
a chemical remover, right?
Yes, that's a great point. I'm so glad you said that. So through you
Mm-hmm.
and your platform,
Mention Becka Hayes. You got to say my name or he's
Yep.
not going to do it. Say my name. Okay, go on. Sorry.
so we're giving 50% off a water treatment
Mm-hmm.
system. It's full of coconut shell. Water passes through the coconut shell,
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes out, and the coconut shell absorbs hundreds of these chemicals that increase the rates of birth defects, miscarriages, cancer rates. Like this is from the EPA. So you get half off if you mention Becka Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can dial in. We can look at, maybe you have a water softener that's growing bacteria. All water softeners grow bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
Softener companies don't tell you that.
Nice.
Why would they poop on their own product?
Of course not.
No.
Yeah.
So we can disinfect a water softener if you have one. We can do so many things. We're here to help. We definitely want to educate and share this message of good health, the original life. It's all about Enevive, and it's all about water. And yeah, so we're offering 50% off for your followers.
I'm so excited. I want to end on this. So this is my ex-husband's best friend, but we're still kind of friends. He actually, because I've been sharing, stories about Enevive and stuff, and he actually mentioned, I think this was, he was replying to the grand opening of Enevive. And he said, I have Trent's complete water system in our new house, best tasting water. And I was like, I'm getting it too. I can't wait. And I asked him how his water's been. So he's out in Harriman, Utah. He says Harriman water is so bad. Like this is his words, like some of the worst in Utah. Their complete water system is legit. I got everything with it, including the RO too, which goes to my water faucet and other drinking lines and ice maker. So clear and perfect water. I definitely noticed the difference. My sister lives close and has the same ice maker, and her ice is all cloudy looking, tastes awful. Mm-hmm. Mine perfectly translucent and clear. No more ice floaties. Oh, I hate ice floaties. There you go.
Wow.
So
that's great.
you gotta, I mean, in
What's
a
his
couple
name? I might know him.
That's Travis Mundy.
I knew it. I knew it was Travis. Like seriously.
He's a hoot. And
I love Travis.
I love Janica, his wife. We're good friends.
Yeah. So I met Travis myself.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him, and we customized the installation when he was building the home with a company at Sage Homes, who built his home.
Mm-hmm.
They promote us as well through Sage. And so, yeah, it's all about understanding. We just don't know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we give that comparison. And it's like what I call the fish theory. A fish doesn't know that it lives in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just lives. And we are like that fish. We just live our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, water's water. But until the fish might swim upstream to where it's cleaner water, it doesn't know it's been living in muck water until it has comparison. So like when my dad died, I had no idea I didn't miss him until I became a father and I had the comparison. When I became a dad, and I'm a really good dad, then I knew. I was like, holy cow, if my dad was half the father I am, I might be twice the man. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that until I became a father. And then it was like, wow, I really missed out on something. And it's that comparison, right? It's the comparison between where I'm at and what I could have. And so we just take people out of the water for a little bit and we show them, how does it taste? Look at this water. What do you think? Mm-hmm. How does it feel? It's like, whoa, wow.
Yeah.
And that converts people. They're like, well, I had no idea. I was just like little Nemo swimming along in the water, not knowing, shark bait, hoo-ha-ha.
Yep.
And then when they have that comparison, it's like, wow. And then you have it in your home and you're bathing in it every day. You're not absorbing the chemicals in the shower. You're not inhaling them.
I can't imagine going back.
No.
I can't even, I don't even want to think that way.
Yeah. So we love it. I love what I do. Like I drive a Ford truck and the license plate say, I'm lucky I got it. It's Aquaman.
Does it say thirsty? Oh.
No, it says that'd be good too. That'd be awesome. Thirsty. I'm thirsty. But it's Aquaman, like for real.
Yeah.
So I'm vested in this. I'm all in. I'm not going anywhere. This isn't a temporary thing I'm doing. Like we want to grow. We want to share this message nationwide. We've got some big plans. We're really excited. We appreciate your support, Becka.
I do everything that I can.
Well, I love your energy.
Thank you.
And when we met, I was really impressed with you, both of you. But like truly, I was like, wow, I love this. I love her energy. I love her boldness. I love how she says it the way it is, and she's not bashful about it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're so authentic.
Thank you.
And that's what I know that, you know, people resonate with that. So
Yeah,
I honestly believe, I really appreciate it.
I refuse to team up with anybody that I don't truly believe in. And, you know, my audience knows that. The people that, you know, that are close with me, my friends, they all know that I refuse to, you know, associate with dishonest people.
Yeah.
And you're a very honest guy. I could tell that from the very get-go. You're very genuine. And I'm so excited to help you spread this message. So everybody listening, call Trent and have him come out and test your water. Just get your water tested. That's all I ask.
No sales pitch.
No sales pitch.
No
Just
pitch.
go get it tested and just
free water.
And you can get free water. Go to your location. It's in Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove.
You can
527 West State Street, Suite 104. It's right off of State Street. We've got a big showroom, a fill station in the back, 300 gallons of super purified water. It's incredible, and we unlimited supply. You want to go on a trip on your RV? Pull your RV up. We'll run the hose out, fill it up with pure water.
It's so awesome.
So cool.
5 gallons, no problem, free. Don't spend 59, 79, 89 cents a gallon at Walmart, where those machines that fill up your water, and I see people carrying jugs out. It's like, oh, this is insane. We gotta get this message out.
Yeah.
Free pure water.
Yeah.
And then meet with us and just learn, find out something new. Like take a risk and invite us, or you come to us and just learn what you don't know. Just like that fish. The fish doesn't know what it doesn't know.
Exactly.
We're that way too.
And this is my last question, and then we'll end here. But so other people, and I've had other people reach out to me that are in other states. Are you working on being able to reach everybody's home in the United States, at least for now? Okay.
So we can pretty much do that now through shipping, and we can broker plumbers if you have to do any kind of a hard installation, pretty much anywhere in the United States. Right now we have clients in New York City, California.
Okay.
Up in Idaho. Mostly it's the local area, the Intermountain area, Salt Lake County, Utah County, Park City. We can do anything to the water you want.
What if they're like, Trent, I just, first of all, I want my water tested. What do you suggest to them?
If they're not local, they can send us some water. They can contact us. We can send them a packet. They can get a sample of the water. They can send it back into us. We can analyze it. We can pull the water report from where they live in the zip code, and we can really say, wow, okay, well, here's what the water companies are saying. Here's what some independent research, like an independent research firm called EWG, Environmental Working Group. They're incredible. They've done nationwide studies that surpass the testing of the water companies. The water companies are not required by law to disclose very much, and they should be.
Yeah.
So we have independent sources we can pull from and say, well, based on this, based on your water report from the city, this, that, and the other, and your water analysis, here's the protocol. Here's what we recommend. You want us to send it out to you, and we can have somebody install it for you.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So even people that aren't in Utah, call Trent. What's the phone number, Trent?
801-993-0080.
There you go. Write that number down. Call him. Get your water checked. He'll walk you through everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Trent, on the Becka Hayes Show, your favorite podcast, favorite show. And thank you, Jacob.
Always.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.